sounds like they're opening the door.
Underneath these hostile skies, if you don't find some shelter soon, beneath the searing afternoon, poor old George will waste and fade. He'll sweat away without some shade. Oh, the sun, the blazing sun, feels like my melting has begun. 100 degrees, bake the day. Even my eyeballs sweat, I pray for a breeze, a cloud, some sweet relief. This silent heat is past belief. Gotta find some shadow, cool and deep, before the promises I can't.
Hi, Magadan, Umaga Posa, Inyong Lahat. I know.
Oh, it's your Mother's Day balloons. I was wondering.
Oh, even with the lights on, yeah, I was like, get the...
No, these are Mother's Day balloons over here.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, guys. How you guys doing today?
Today we are going to, the whole subject is not going to be based on royalty that's in the UK and that there's somewhat royalty here in the Philippines. And we mean that Meghan Markle's estranged father, also called the deadbeat Markle, is here in Cebu, not here, but here in the Philippines, in Cebu, along with her brother. And they're here living their best life. But it appears they really aren't. So when me and George seen that and I saw the article, I was like, wow, here they are. Shouldn't they be living in a place way bigger than the amount that they are? But they're living in a very small condo in Cebu. It doesn't mean because his daughter is a princess in a country, doesn't mean he has money, although they are dropping a book based on her life and they've got all kinds of crap and everything on her, like literally they were just doing a video where they said that they know for sure she couldn't have any kids and that she used a surrogate to bring in a white baby, which brings in a whole nother... I knew those kids were a little light toasty for her. Anyways, I won't get into color and everything of the kids, but that's what he's saying. And I was like, well, that makes sense. Maybe that was even an agreement with the royal grandmother. But so they're here. And it's either that they've got assistants, like her dad's like 80 years old right now. So either she's assisting, like the girl, like he's got a girlfriend sitting with him. So I'll bring up some footage that we have of them. But basically, Thomas Markle is now reported to be living in Cebu in a condo, a high-rise condo, for about 30 something thousand, 31,000 give or take, which is about $565 a month, and that's with the brother. So Meghan Markle's now facing yet another family controversy, because they're like, oh, your dad, but really they really don't have much of a relationship. But like me and George was discussing, we're surprised that they don't have some bigger place or that they don't have somebody watching over him. It doesn't matter. It's still, you see what I'm saying? He's still of importance, whether it's kidnapping, whether it's something, going south. So Mr. Markle, Thomas Markle Jr., announced that they have a plan for a tell-all book. Okay, so the memoir is in the works. Well, it just sounds like bad blood, going on and everything.
There's
But
always a book.
yeah, there's always a book. So that is what's going on that. So in saying that, looks like he's been to Southeast Asia before and looks like he plans to stay here. And but is it really paradise for him? And will he be happy here? And does having some money make you happy here? So that's kind of the questions we'll pose today. And I will turn it over here to my wide awakened little Asian friend here, George. Take it away, George.
Well, before I say anything, maybe we should go through the video. Or
There's not.
whatever you have.
There's really not. I was just going to put that up while you can go ahead. There's not. It's not a video.
Oh,
Why did I
sorry.
say I had a video?
Well, it's still a video. It's like a
Oh, we can run it through. So here is, it says that Meghan Markle's dad, this is what kind of, sparked us to do the video. He's struggling in a 500 a month, which is about 565 in a Philippine flat. He's, of course, it's hot here. Just because you can have some kind of money doesn't mean you're going to be happy. That's another thing. There's a big mistake where people say, oh, you're living like you live in scroungy in the Philippines. You can't be living most life. Scroungy, poor Filipinos live just fine. Okay. And so do expats. Well, hold on. Because people are talking about they're all poor and everything. They can't be happy. No, scroungy and poor. And, like us being scroungy and poor, it doesn't mean that we don't have happy. George works my nerves all the time. He absolutely works my nerves just like I work his, but it doesn't mean that. And
Yeah.
so, but does it, that don't look like happiness to me. He looks miserable. And so he's got to be sweating it up. You go from the UK to here, you're really going to sweat it up. So that's where we are. So try to scrounge and scrub for more photos. These are just photos of them. Really, it's not really technically based on this, but it is. There's the brother. Hey, it's okay, mommy. Mommy cat's going through and kicking ass this morning. But yeah. Yeah, here it'll go through, but that's probably a repeat. But it's an interesting situation. When I seen it, I was like, yeah, of course we're going to cover it, because my biggest thing that I was shocked about it, there's her brother, is that the amount of rent they're paying, and they're actually living together. Yeah, her family tree really shows there. But good way to scrub it out by hiring in a surrogate, a white
Oh.
surrogate. What's wrong? There are women with these guys.
It's not that.
What?
She didn't miss leg day. Oh, that. She didn't miss leg day. That's,
Oh no,
that's a good set of legs. That's solid legs.
it looks like boy legs. Could be the
I
finest
mean,
lady boy.
I'm just saying.
It looks like a guy to me.
Those are solid
But
legs. I mean, like, holy crap.
yeah, guys, let us know. Guys, be sure to subscribe and comment. We need you to comment during the live stream. The more comments you make and things and questions you ask us, the more that it does push the video. And plus, George likes to be picked on, so really pick his brain and ask him things you want to irritate us with. And but they both appear to have people with them. Now, I'm betting Dad at 80. That's probably a healthcare worker with them, possibly helping shopping and stuff. Kind of like George is my healthcare assistant.
Yeah. Well,
You can take it.
first, well, I mean, I wasn't going to.
Oh,
But first off, again, for those of you wondering, they're paying about. I'm actually absolutely shocked on how much they're paying for rent, because they're paying 39,000 pesos, which honestly, that's about average. It's actually, it's not. It's a
for an
it's
expat, that's probably with a retirement payment, but I wouldn't say
well,
for a
even
Filipino.
even for a Filipino, that's like what do you call it? Not at rich level yet. That's not even at rich level.
31,000 rent is, that's the top percenters. I mean, I wouldn't call it the top 1%. Okay, 31,000 peso rent is
most places like like LNS SL average rent is like 40,000.
okay, but
They
not,
didn't even hit that mark.
yeah, but if you take a percentage of the country
Yeah,
that's
but
living in
these
poverty
are
and below
Filipinos.
level, I got
And
that.
these are
It's not an expensive amount of rent. No.
that's the point. It's not at rich. It's really not at rich level. It's like at higher mid level.
What's the average income here a month?
Well, about
Average.
the actual real average is 25,000. Real average.
Trike drivers are
I'm
making
not-
25,000.
I said
The
average.
bankers are making
I said
25,000.
average. I didn't say no. 25 isn't that hard to get. It's not.
Well, I would like that if you can start making it a month.
It's
25,000 seems
It's
high.
really not. Even some trike drivers make that mark.
Well, then I have to get me a truck driver.
The trike drivers at SM make that more.
Okay.
But you guys, okay, for those of you who are arguing with me right now in their heads, be aware that the routes in the SM routes they have to pay 250,000 to get those routes.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, don't. When I say, I'm very specific here. I said at SM.
Well, I mean, I guess so.
There's certain routes that are really high pay. However, you have to pay to get those routes.
All right. So they're saying the average salary is about 7,000 a year. So I guess they would have to be able to make 500 or 600. But if they're making that a month, let's say they are making 30,000, they're not paying 30,000 in rent. They still have
I
other bills to
said
pay.
This is above this is high average. I didn't
Oh.
say. I'm very well aware of what the words that come out of my mouth. I said this is like mid high.
Ah.
So it's like the cusp of being rich. It's at around 45,000. That's where the break is from the rich and the mid high. But anyway,
It's still,
bottom line,
it's
they're
still
still
low.
not at the rich level. That's my
Right.
point.
Right. So
They're
hey,
not at the rich level.
I'll agree with you on that one.
Now, for those of you who are wondering why,
It's USD on the 25,000 pesos a month. Ugly tourist. That's not USD. That's about 500-600 a month, depends.
yeah, no, they're
550 right now.
they're paying around average of 39,000 pesos, for those of you who are wondering of the conversion. But it's not quite 500. It's a little over 5, but again, that's like a few pounds here and there. But what I'm saying is, for those of you wondering, like, why they're in such weird disrepair, I guess is the word. I don't know. First off, Meghan Markle and her beau aren't exactly in good standing.
They were like, they said, but they were talking about the tariffs and everything and trade with the UK, and the prime minister was there and they were doing all that. They said, please just keep those two and we'll do a deal.
Right. So you have to be aware that
reject royalty is what we should have put.
If they are within the royal circle, they would have their own version of
hillbillies and rejects,
Secret Service around the family, and make sure they're well protected and they're well taken care of.
And they don't even have.
But-
they just
but
lost
they're
the.
not.
Yeah, they just
They're
lost the
not.
court case. The court case stated they're not going to get any extra money or any privacy.
And they shouldn't.
He's
They
got
shouldn't.
no.
They
He left the
shouldn't.
royal family. I mean, I'm not. I used to be all up into that and know what all that was about,
Right.
but
So if
but I know he lost.
right, if the
and-
immediate prince and his bride aren't protected, much more of the extended family.
yeah.
So for those of you wondering, like, what if they're royalty, then what's going on? Well, that's what's going on, is because of their behavior. First off, that's another thing. Her book trashed her family and the royal
his, yeah,
family.
yeah. They were living on both sides.
Right.
I like to do
They
that.
basically like scorched earth. Let's just
like to trash your family, like to trash my family
Yeah.
and anybody else.
correct. So,
It's called business.
well, there's always a book.
Yeah, no, there's always
There's always a book. Now we have to remember too that this book that it's allegedly not finished yet. Well, I'm pretty sure it's gonna burn Meghan Markle. Just saying, because it's
Well, it already is. They said they already know that she could not have kids, and they got her infertility, and that she used surrogacy for the kids. And then you had people in the UK saying how white those kids were, even with her having a mixed family, and that they were really. And I said, no, now it does make sense if they're saying all that. So there's a bunch of juicy tidbits on the side.
yeah, it's one of those things that kind of
because
answers
they're
what you've always wondered in your head, like.
they're white as snow. Even the photos they've revealed. And so, and you could clearly see in those photos that she was a darker teenager because she's a family mixed. And you could see her roots were showing before she tried to, what do you call that? What is that we say, chosen one? Passing.
Damn.
And I've got, I got several family members that, that are mixed and everything. And you can definitely tell, but her kids, you cannot tell. But anyways, yeah, she just come from a regular background for the most part, but interesting. How's your coffee?
I think I put too much milk.
Well, you were supposed to use a cup, and you wouldn't put that much sugar in that, but you did. I thought you were putting in that. So did you put a tablespoon of sugar in that? So probably between the milk and that, you probably extra sugared out.
No, it's not the sugar.
It just tastes better when I make it, but I said no this morning.
Chosen one says the royal family hates peasants. Megan was enough. Let alone her dad. Oh damn.
They call him deadbeat Markle or something. There's all kinds of things they call. Like I read through some of the newspapers, and I'm like, what is it you say? Hey, chosen one, tell me what you say. What does he call all the guys that come here? Misfits and something else when he talks about he who shows up here or running from something, they're this, that, they're misfit, he had another degenerate.
Yes. Misfits and degenerates.
So look, check it out, chosen one. Looks like so I was like, oh well, that makes sense, but I'm like, dang man, and it's like I'm broke. I'm broke, and we can afford that rent. I mean, we would agree that sometimes it's not worth it, and especially because I don't go nowhere. I just make my castle on the inside, man. Actually, the Philippines becomes what you make of it. I mean, if it's too hot, get the AC. If something's going on, change it. Bitch, and bitch about it, but then change it. Like George said, he's like, and I've tried to fix the things around me. Can't always do that. Hey, what's going on, Jennifer? Hillbilly Pyro. God. Go. MB is in the house. Cindy.
Hey, MB. Hello, Philippines. Hey, Graham, got to move on. K Dolls. Good morning, K Dolls. Chosen one says, hello, Rumi. Slick Rick. Good morning. George and Heidi from San Francisco.
Hey, what is
Chosen one
going
says,
on?
shout out to the royal family. Not sure why I gave out that shout out. Cindy, hey, Cindy G. How you doing?
Hi.
Slick Rick says, Georgia and Heidi, you guys are royalty. Oh, thank you very much, Slick Rick.
Yeah,
Royal pain in the butt.
you got that right.
Ugly Tourist, good morning, George. Good morning, Heidi.
Good
Cindy
morning.
G says, wrong place to come. Easily kidnapped by Muslims or NPA or other greedy uncouth. I like that.
Uncouth is what
groups.
lives here, man.
Here to, well, see, that's the thing. I honestly think the royal family doesn't give a crap about these people. No,
Even
really,
if
I
you
really,
know, here's the
they
thing.
really don't.
I mean, I
That's why they don't have their version of Secret Service. I forgot what they're called.
see.
Is it
In my
OSA?
opinion, if this would have been maybe the 70s or 80s or 50s, they would have done it anyways because that would have been the thing to do. Whether you hate them or whatever, there's still a level of professionalism. Now there's just a bunch of chat GPT, know it all, I don't care, and who cares what happens to the next person attitude going on. They would have done it just because in the 50s and 60s. It's the right thing to do. In other words, if he looks bad, I look bad. That's what I was telling you about Bong Bong Marcos. I said, doesn't that make the rest of the country look wrong? Why does he do something about it? And you said, your exact word was, well, he did the same thing. And I'm like, still, I don't care if I did it. It isn't a monkey see, monkey do situation on politics. And then I'm like, but it's the thing to do. Nobody wants to do the right thing anymore. It's true.
Yeah,
It's true. You still do it anyways because somebody's going to kidnap him and they could squeeze all the secrets out of him.
but here's the thing too.
Like how much whitening medication she's taking.
It's somewhat kind of it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. What I'm saying is, first off, right now they don't have an entourage.
I need an entourage.
And if they did have an entourage, they would be getting more attention and therefore they'd be bigger targets, if that makes any sense. The fact that they don't have an entourage tells a lot of these,
I could go see these.
NPA, MILF, that kind of deal. They won't pay attention to them because, like, well, they don't even have bodyguards, so they're probably not that important. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's true. It's true. I mean, they're really not that important. If they were, they would have bodyguards.
I doubt it. Not in this day and age.
Well, again, the royal family doesn't give a crap about these people because remember they were kind of snip snip cut off.
Good morning,
Smile and be
Gio.
happy. Thumbs up. Thank you so much, Smile and be happy. Harry Walsh, hello, all from rainy Deer Park, New York. Smile and be happy says Marco's father isn't struggling too bad with that big belly. Oh, dang.
No, he's really big. Who was I telling, or did I say it in the live
Hasn't missed a
stream?
meal. That's
I
what Smile and be happy
said
says.
something about, and you guys are gonna be like, oh, that's not fair. Sorry. I think, there's more of an acceptance of big voluptuous women being just round. It's been like that since the beginning of history. They find it, like, they found healthy women back in the day as far as that. But when you see a guy that's that big in the stomach, or he's overweight, I told you, even at my biggest size, I would not date a person overweight. Call me discriminative or whatever, but I wouldn't even. They just, now that's him. Yep. Are you kidding me?
in my belly. Get in my belly.
See who that is, and if that's the guy, you better set him straight. Wow, he knows better. It's our delivery guy. There it is. We've mentioned Andy honked on top of that. No, tell him you're working. Is it the new guy? Oh my God. See, we said that. Andy honked. So on top of that, he rarely honks, and then he's honking out there. So there's sometimes where George is talking to people through when he's working, and then of course working on his book, and when he's not at the family or us doing something, and we asked about not coming on certain days or any day of the week until after 12, and here he is honking the horn. George got hit by like Jehovah Witnesses this morning. It was hilarious. So we thought it was him because they're supposed to come before 9 o'clock, right? And he went out there, and there's like 12 of them with their little Bible cases at the door. And he said, dang it. He goes, it's people out there begging. And I checked the camera footage, and it's like, it was Jehovah Witnesses. That stray cat needs to stay in the house. Here, let me see, baby girl. Probably need my black one to look better with me. Here, give me my other accessory over there, right there next to you. There's baby girl. And there she is, getting better. See how good she healed?
What's the other accessory?
The black one. He matches my gift. Well, get him.
He's right there.
I can't get him. He won't come to me, babe. I'm getting my new get up. Yeah. Gio said he likes my hair. Now, Gio is one fine guy. Well, this is Gio, too. Gio is fine like wine. Let's see. Look. See, it looks like he's got white eyebrows. How are you doing, sweetie? This guy's we put a TikTok up on him yesterday. He just looks chilled. What are you doing, Gigi? He's the most chilled cat. And he's like his dad. There's his dad's outside. See how it looks like he has no hair on his ears? It's not that his hair's fallen out. It's just the way it is. Why are you looking at me like that, Gio? Huh? Be a little judgmental with them guys. See him? Oh, okay. We'll put you down. And he's still got paws. Look how big his paws are. Look at his mitts. He's got big mittens, and his claws still stay out. But no, get in my belly, huh? Did you? Oh, you did go up to the top. Easy to live simple here with good friends, fresh fruits, fish, and health. So it is good based on a person's value system. I'm not into materialism. Well, we've been saying that. Remember, we said there are still people here trying to keep up with the Joneses, and that, when we first got here, been here almost 4 years. Remember, we've discussed that, like where they've shamed other channels, and other people that don't have channels will shame. Like they'll sit around in groups talking about, oh, so and so's only got 1,000 a month they're living on, or they've only got this, or they didn't bring a $200,000-$300,000 in the bank, and they can't afford a car, and they can't this. And I'm like, well, it doesn't have to be like that either. But you should be able to have the basics, residual income. Yeah, I was saying that. Residual income. Good morning, Gio.
Love the hair, Heidi.
Thanks. Well, this is the one I wore the last time, but I didn't brush it out. And there's others coming. I like this one better than the first one because it's a little bit longer, because I do have the original blonde wig, but it doesn't lay this well. But yeah, see, and now you can see the gray. Before it looked all black, but I guess after I brushed it and combed it out and shook it out, it looks You can see more of the gray with the black. But you will get people that will. And it's not that you guys can't live on a certain income. Are you willing to do without things? Are you willing to, when you come here, you're going to be dealing with dozens of things. You're going to be dealing with the culture, the people, the adjustment, the squinty eyes looking at your shoes all the time and looking at you in the mall all the time. Just joking. But you're going to be dealing with the heat, being able to make appointments, the out of stock, and, getting your place set up and getting things for your places and getting to know the people, getting to know the other expats. And there's so much to deal with in the adjustment. Some can deal and some actually can't. So, but the amount of money that you live on is going to be up to you, which will bring me back around to the subject of I'm still shocked that him, the son and father are living in a place that inexpensive and right in the middle of the people too. So it's interesting. So always interesting.
No, it is, and I mean, I want to know what it's actually
That's a shadow of your head.
right. Exactly. That's
That's what
right.
it looks like.
I'm more curious on what the motivation is of the girlfriend than anything. To be honest with you.
To get paid and that he won't eat her. Get in my belly.
Get in my belly. No, I mean, what I'm saying is, you guys have to remember that. I mean, okay.
Did you see those thighs? He could be eating for days
It's
on
really
that
not
lady boy.
okay. Is it true love? I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a stretch. It's a stretch.
They could say that
The
about us.
last live we did, I could say, yeah, it's love, yes. But on this one, it's a stretch. Can it be? Yes, it could be. It could be love. It could be love.
It would strictly be
But it's a
because
stretch. But in
she's probably got a lady boy boner just
In-
thinking about the royal family.
correct, and the reason why I'm saying that is not because of the other guy didn't have anything really.
Looking for love,
But this one,
in all
let's
the
say
wrong
he's
places,
obviously has
looking for
enough
love
to live in
too
Cebu,
many places. Look under his belly,
right? But
looking for
is it
love.
clout for her to date somebody like, oh well, this is Meghan Markle's dad.
Maybe if I lick his
Oh,
toes.
this is Meghan Markle's brother.
Hey, babe, maybe if I lick his toes, it'll promote our channel.
Go ahead. So
You let me lick your toes this morning.
you know what I'm saying? So there's several motivations, put it that way. I mean, I don't know if that she does. I'm not saying she does. I'm not saying she doesn't, but what I'm saying, there's certainly a lot of possibilities. That's what I'm getting at.
Always a possibility. To the possibility of the fortitude of the back street, of the back of that building to the front of the building to 180 degrees divided by 56, that's probably a yes. And the size of his waist.
All I need now is crap in a jar. But anyway,
You can put some nitrogen on it?
correct.
Okay.
But
So the precipitility of the fertility is a possibility that those kids are vanilla-ly, is why the book will be written, because she couldn't do her nilly to the willy of the filly. So now he's over there licking on the thighs of a fighter chai.
right, exactly.
You're welcome. By the way, if you guys don't know, I feel better. Thank you we got a lot of messages, emails, and stuff in regards to me
thank you
being
for
sick. Here's the thing. I want to know, being prepared once you get here is everything. I know they say that, don't stock up, don't do this, don't bring your Western mentality on certain things. We've said it. But I do believe, like me and George have always done this. He's a prepper. I've always gotten 4 and 5 of, items. So that way when one runs out, the next one's here. And we still do that. But the moment I stocked up on more Imodium, I got more of the Pepto, and those other medicines I ordered showed up. As soon as we got the bread, the crackers, I made a pot of rice. Don't you know, I didn't have any more of the liquid gold diarrhea, or I didn't vomit. There was no more blood. And then we got the bananas. And soon as I was eating those, it was gone before I even ate the first dry toast. And so I've been resting, and that was it. The doctor increased the steroids. I'm on them 3 times, and it'll be like that for a week. The extra doses, and it's been a miracle. So got more energy, able to pick on George a little bit more. And but thank you guys. So
Yeah. Yeah, but bottom line, always be prepared again. Like, for
yeah.
example, I always keep a pack of antibiotics, and I always keep a pack of Imodium in my backpack at all times, just in case.
Well, if you have a spare tire, nothing will happen. It's just
Yeah,
some sort of
usually if you have a
karma.
spare tire that's good, usually you don't get a flat.
And the same with us, like the batteries. When we don't have batteries, it seemed like we were going like literally 3 times
Yeah,
the
when
week.
you're
We need the
ready, nothing
remotes.
happens. When you're not ready, that's when crap hits the fan. Right.
Yeah, like we keep extra filters for the fans, keep one extra bottle of cleaner. We always kept extra gas for the generator. But if you don't do that stuff, or like right now, we have both battery packs now. I bet we all of a sudden have little to no, because there was a power outage at 4 a.m. this morning. And so it kept me up. Instead of, as soon as it went off, I can hear everything go down, and I know it right away when it does. But we'll probably have little to no power outages now that we have enough to get us by for 12 hours at a time. But you just got to be prepared here.
Yeah, one of the battery packs will like power up a fan for God knows how many
Probably
hours.
12. Yeah. So here you
Yeah.
go. Here's one of them.
Yeah, you
Well,
can just lift it up. Babe.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to have you hold it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
one of
these
these
are.
will
I have a
power up
list
a
somewhere. I
fan for
have to find it, and they're inexpensive.
almost 12 hours,
But
probably more.
well, I know for sure if you have one of these, it'll run like your we run the internet, and you could charge your phone several times.
Yeah, the modem.
And it
Yeah,
runs
we
the
run the
tablet
modem
for a
with it,
while,
yes.
probably 8 hours or more. And so now we have a few of them up, and a bunch of, what is that?
I don't know. I think that's mom.
She's calling the kids. I
Yeah,
was
it's
thinking it
mom.
was
It's
because she
mom.
was in heat. She's calling the
She's
kids.
calling the kids.
And she's still nursing on top of that. That's the crazy part. She's still nursing them. She doesn't do it all day. She just lets them. She'll call them. They'll go up. They'll nurse, and then she turns them loose. She bites them, fights them, and turns them loose. Sounds like us this morning. Bite, fight.
Right.
Right.
Oh, there they go.
Yes, I told you. She'll call them, and they'll come running.
Calvin's asleep though. There goes Gio.
No, Gio always goes running every time.
Cindy G. Comment. Got it.
Yeah, I was saying it helps the algorithm.
Chosen One says whatever, Cindy. I mean,
you better go sit down somewhere, Chosen One. Yeah, 25,000 pesos. But they're saying the statistic says the Filipinos are making 7,000. A percentage of the country is below poverty. But when you go to the malls and you go to facilities where people are spending money, it is all Filipinos. And when Gio was in the mall and he was like, there's a lot of people here, he was saying how they seem to be spending money and stuff at the mall. I right off the top of my head, I can't think of the area again, the city you were at. It was just his recent video that he had. He does was talking about his people watching. I said, I love people watching. And my mom was too. And but anyways, it wasn't a busy part of the day. But when you're in these malls, all of a sudden you just see them all shopping, eating out. And a lot of that is Western price. It really is Western price. And where was I going with this? Oh, so 7,000 USD a year would be the income, but there's a lot of them making money. But we did get several comments where they said that a lot of that is OFW money. So like some of them are OFW, they're coming in. You got returning Filipinos, you got the foreigners in there, you got the ones that are working online, the ones that are working the upper jobs, and so that's where it comes from, but yeah. So no, that we're talking, it's about 560 a month is what they're paying. So, and yeah. Hey, what's going on, Black Grandpa?
Black Grandpa says shout out from Brampton, Ontario, Canada. It's popping Pete. Hillbilly Pyro 2.0 says, why are we talking about him? The reason why is because I understand.
Why not? Because they're here in Cebu, period. I mean, that's why we're talking about them.
Well, to be more precise, again, they are still part of the royal family, regardless of whether they're disconnected. They're still part of them. And what I'm saying is the fact that they're of that clan, they're still here.
And they're paying $565 a month. So just because it doesn't matter if they're saying he's living at the bottom, his bottom is probably way better than 80% of us that are
No,
coming here.
that's what I'm saying.
And
It's
he's
still
living the way he apparently wants to
correct.
live,
He may be
and
complaining
he's
about the weather,
out
but
in public, and he looks somewhat miserable, but he did come to the Philippines. He's not living somewhere else. He decided to live here. That's why.
right.
Because our channel will cover other expats when things are going on. We cover topics around the Philippines, sometimes the news, and to me it's a big deal. I like the royal family. I've watched since Princess Diane, since a little girl, and for me, yeah, we're going to cover it. So,
Well, I mean, and again, regardless of what
and
anybody thinks, and let's be honest here, folks. They're not here for because it's cost of living. They're here for the nanny. Just
lady
saying.
boy licking. Lady boy licking
I
his
don't think
stamp,
she's
lady
a
boy.
lady boy. Keyword she.
Maybe.
I mean that's.
And it doesn't matter if
She-
that's your
I get it. She
hoo-ha.
doesn't miss leg day. I get it. I mean, but
Evidently you don't either.
I mean,
She
look at those legs. I mean, I'm not.
that is a
I'm
boy.
not. No, it's not.
That's a
She
boy.
just doesn't miss leg day. I mean,
I bet she doesn't even work out. People are like, oh, look how flat her stomach is and look how good she looks.
okay.
Damn,
put
she
it-
was
put it this way-
born with
put it
those
this way.
genes.
Put it this way. Look, her legs are almost the same size as his.
Actually, they're bigger. But here's the deal.
Just saying.
You know-
That tells you that.
Can
she
you
doesn't-
guess what city?
No, that
What
she
city
works-
does she live in?
She works out.
What
She
city?
works out.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll do anything you want. You ask me to, if you can tell me what city she lives in based on those legs. What city does she live in?
You mean she doesn't live in Cebu?
Well, she about like no, not really. Baguio. Get it? Uphill. All those uphill tracking.
could
Too
be.
bad. I didn't want to do anything for you, anyways.
Could be.
You're on my dog list.
Well,
anyways.
either way, again, that's well-developed legs. I mean,
You're really stuck on that well-developed leg thing. You really have been. So I'm gonna be watching you today.
because okay, for those of you who are not aware of what I do, first off, athlete-wise, I take care of my legs. I skateboard, I bike, I mountain bike. I used to be a martial arts instructor. I used to be a runner. So yes, I pay attention to my legs and other people's legs.
Brian is in the house.
so,
Hey,
you
Philly.
know.
Good morning.
Jennifer Wilson, hey everyone from Vancouver Island, Canada. Hey
Good
Jennifer, how you doing?
morning.
Hillbilly, hello guys. Hillbilly says that's just a little weird, a little face paint, and she would look like a juggalo with that wig. Marion Haber says good morning, Heidi and George. Hey Marion, how you doing? Jennifer says if you think they don't have security guards, you're wrong. Well, officially they don't. No, we could be wrong. They could have
No,
security
it
guards
was mentioned
from
in the
afar.
articles. Maybe, but according to the articles, they don't. And they were wondering why.
Well, again, officially they don't. Officially,
Yeah, we never know if it's
but it's
undercover.
possible
Undercover.
they do. They're being watched from afar, but officially they don't. Chosen
Yeah.
One says Megan's dad is soaking up all the kitty cat. There you go, the punani, having a daughter that is royalty. No. See, I mean, I hate to say it. Like I said, I'd be more be inclined to seeing a Filipino with an older guy if
Well, they
the
say
older
he's
guy
being
doesn't have a
low-key.
title.
If he
Yeah,
was
I
upper key and
doubt it.
mentioned it, he probably get a lot more
I
stuff.
doubt it. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he uses that line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chosen One says, "Don't go to Cebu, folks. Stick to Angeles." Well, what he's saying is, it's I believe price wise, Cebu is it's much higher.
It is.
Yeah. So, and the quality of life is about the same, except cost more. Now, as far as women are concerned, for those who are wondering, they're about equal. Anyway. last time I was there, they're about equal. Jennifer Wilson, it's like the Roadrunner delivering to the Coyote. Acme, boom. There you go. Hillbilly Pyro, cute cat. Enigma, good day to all. Black Grandpa
Hey.
says Megan isn't close to her father. He wasn't around for her growing up.
Yeah, and now he's doing all the books. Yeah, they call him like I've heard everything recently they said about him, and they're like, well, he isn't exactly this, and neither is her brother. This is just bad blood in the family, and now he's telling all of her business, and so it makes sense. It's and believe me, they'll make things up, and it's like welcome to the game situation. So I'm sure they could be making a bunch of stuff up too. So
Right. No, I mean, again, of course, Lost in the Philippines. Hey, Heidi and George. Jennifer Wilson, what sort of savings would you recommend living there?
what? I don't know, about $20. I'd be lucky. Oh, you mean
That's about the average expat here nowadays.
right? And a couple credit cards.
Pretty much.
How much?
And they promised the girl the world.
How much money? How much money do we got? Can we go on vacation?
Right?
That's true. They were showing. I seen this video and I had to laugh at it. It showed a Filipina that was just laying around playing on her phone, TikToks and all that, and she was like, "I don't want to do anything," and I'm this and that. He goes, "I was thinking about going on a road trip," and then all of a sudden she jumps up. She's in a red outfit, hat. Her kids were dressed up, and they had a suitcase, and all of a sudden she just drug the suitcase and went out the door. So in other words, she was ready to go. But no, how much money we got to go on vacation? Um, I don't know. There is no right amount. You're never going to have enough money when it comes to severe medical breakdown of your cars or anything else. But if you're being responsible, I mean, if you've got a couple years in the United States to save up, I would say a couple 100,000. You never know because the first major heart surgery could will really take some money, or if you're going to build a house or something. But minimally 30, 40,000. So that way you have some with you.
Yeah.
Can you think of an amount? 10,000, 20,000 if you really don't have
It's
it.
more for backup than anything.
Mm-hmm.
At least the minimum I always say again is at least have enough for a plane ticket and your exit clearance to get out.
I would calculate a year's worth of income or something, and even then that would be pushing it. So yeah.
Now, in all seriousness, again, be aware that for those of you who don't have any savings and you're here in the Philippines and you're trying to figure out a way to, again, to supplement or have a backup of your living. Now, don't be a YouTuber. Please don't be a YouTuber. It's probably the worst ideas you can ever come up with.
Not for a living,
right?
anyways.
Correct. The best way for you to supplement your income or to have a backup income if you're at our age, basically start up an account. Okay, go to this website. It's
Hit register.
seniors at onlyfans.com. Okay, you sign up for it and you just go in there with your partner and just do some, go on live, and then they request you to do stuff, and then when they request you to do stuff, they give you super chats.
Here. No, Dan. Another one bite the dust.
There you go. Right.
Don't be a YouTuber. It doesn't pay, man. The money's dropping by the month, man.
Oh yeah.
I got to put
No,
George
no.
back
For
out on
those of
Red
you who are not
Street.
aware,
We lost $40 last month from that, and we put
that
out the
doesn't
same
sound like
content.
a lot, but it is a lot, and it's not only us feeling.
Well, not for us living on. It's just weird that they're
No,
paying
no.
less, and it's a pay-to-play system.
Correct.
And
Well, the point is not just us.
it means you guys aren't watching.
Every YouTuber is feeling the pinch. Their income has gone down. Even the big giant YouTubers that have
numbers are dropping. It's oversaturated. They're not paying
even the ones
as much.
that get 4 million subscribers. They feel the pinch, and everybody's feeling it.
Really, you do it for fun.
Now,
and
whether
all of that.
it has something to do with the tariffs or the U.S. or anything like that,
I do it for fun.
but we don't know because there's a lot of things going on. But
if George doesn't do it and pays rent, I gotta throw him out.
Don't be a YouTuber. It's one of the last things we recommend.
Do it for fun. Do it to help people.
Yeah.
Do it to show your family. That was
and
our
everybody we've
initial.
met personally, they've actually told us, yes, I agree.
Mhm.
I should have listened. I should have never been a YouTuber. That's what
Do
they
it
always
for
tell us.
fun, and you do
Yeah.
it for prosperity. Like you just like, hey, this is me doing this, and
Yeah.
yeah, you're having fun with
Vlogging
it.
life. Hi everyone.
What
Hey,
is
vlogging
going
life. How you doing?
on?
Cindy
Look a
G,
little
please take
shiny.
care of yourself, Heidi. There you
I
go.
try to.
Um,
Guess I had to think about that whole health thing all over again. What did I tell you this morning about feeling better? I said, you know what? That was probably my body. And besides George trying to poison me with his street food,
curses foiled again.
probably that was probably intentional. I know the man hates me. That it did purge my body. It was really actually really I was telling you that. I mean, because there was nothing left. Literally from Thursday till yesterday, I like had nothing. So I had the toast and I had the bananas that day and then went to bed and got up the next day. I finally ate a peanut butter sandwich and I told George, I said, yeah, I feel much better. So I have to. So it was probably my body. I was like, I have to, I mean, I'm already most of the time doing the right thing, but it's like, damn, I don't drink. I don't do no party favors. I got rid of the prostitutes and started to listen to George and started going to church and oh, never mind. But anyways, I was trying to do the right thing and still got sick. Curse is spoiled again. So, but no, my body was trying to tell me something.
Yeah. Neil says for a lot of ladies in the Philippines, it's like a lottery. They're hoping to attract the wealthiest foreigner possible. So I think it's a bigger factor for the ladies. Yes, no, I agree. I agree.
Mhm.
And again, the problem I have with this situation, with this particular story is, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's using, this his situation to get punani.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
because both
saying?
guys are American unattractive. Just like you guys would say it about me. Then yeah, we don't personally know them, but they're very, very typically averaged. And that's, I don't know, that's just a no. That's a hard pass for me. Even in my situation, that's a hard pass. Would you date him, George?
No. No, I say
Why
that.
you date me?
I hate to say this. I'm pretty sure you guys aren't even the same scale.
You're damn right. We're not.
And I'm being serious here.
Well, they're British. They probably stink.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Probably smell like pork.
Babe,
I'm joking.
it's
just digging.
just looking at the body mass index, it is no.
Oh well, yeah. I mean,
It's not even close. But
no,
anyway,
but no, they are probably taking advantage. Yes.
yeah. Cindy G says, I am so thankful to have access to affordable fresh veggies and fruits here. So every time for years I volunteered, I'm always so healthy. Yes.
Well, here's my question. I want you guys please answer my question. Who do you think gets taken more advantage of? Do you think it's the Filipinas where the expats are taking advantage, like, making them cook clean and they use them up for love making and they use them for, wet nurses, baby nurses, wipe my butt nurses? Or do you think it's the opposite? Do you think the Filipinas are scamming and it includes guys, by the way. There are a lot of guys that come to date guys, and it's just not goes one way. There's people like me. As soon as Georgia, you got to go upstairs and clean anything today?
Nope.
Oh, dang, doesn't look like me. I just wait for him to go over to the family's house before I bring my guy over. But it's who do you think's taking more advantage? You think it's about equal here?
That's a loaded question.
Who's zooming who in this country? You think the expats are the ones that are coming here and taking
I would
advantage of
say it's equal.
poverty?
I think it's an equal battlefield.
All right, so basically they've just been sucking the nectar off of each other for years. It's kind of like, hey, that's a cheap place to go live, and let me go over this, and that. And then when the girls get here or the guys, it's like, look, it's another lollipop. Let me jump on that sugar bunch.
Yeah, I would say it's equal. It's equal footing.
So what do you
have,
guys think?
but
What
I'm
do you
not
think?
saying that it's a 50-50 symbiotic relationship. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's equal parts, as in, I believe, let's say 70% of the women take advantage of the men and 70% of the men take advantage of the women. But
And
I'm not saying it's the same people. Get it? You know, some get taken advantage of on both sides, and that's what I'm saying. But I'm not saying it's a 50-50 relationship. That's not what I'm saying.
yeah, and it's not all of them. We're not saying every single thing. It just seems like that. Like
And
when I first got here, that's all I seen was expats in the malls, and it was
right.
not. And that wasn't even with the country open, and all of them had already went and left during the pandemic. So we were here in the height of like the pandemic, but it seems that way, but it's not. So I just want to let you know when we're talking about it. This is from what we've experienced, read about, talked to people about, or kind of like what it appears. And then there are people that go to every city. I haven't been to every city. I haven't gotten out of this region or nothing. So it's what's out there, but it's not always. There are people come here and they find love. There are ones that meet people online
No,
and been
no,
married for
there's
20
such a thing as
years.
true love.
there's
Yes.
there's there's me and George. I keep them in a little box in the closet here in the doghouse all the time. But no, I mean, it,
Yeah,
it,
it's
it
actually the room
happens.
under the stairs. But yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was talking about having the cabinet built, like part of the way out and building a cabinet into that, having a personal woodwork. I'm gonna have somebody come here and make it out of oak, maybe even cedar or something, and I'm gonna come over and have them craft. And I want them to do some nice woodwork and whittle some stuff on the outside, make me a little built-in cabinet in there, and they can come here and I'm gonna get it done for probably about $20. I can't even get an electrician here for Christ's sake.
Right. Lou says, when I went to Bohol, Alona Beach, the majority were Filipinos, very,
Mhm.
very few foreigners. There was a Facebook post that said, just because I'm poor does not mean I cannot travel.
Yeah. Yep, that is true. Because here's the thing also is I do wonder now when you said that about the cost of the rentals, usually it is shared, even if it is 35,000 over in the subdivision. There isn't usually just one person, kind of like us. We're taking on the rent, although it's not that much. It's more to some people, but when people rent these out, there's usually a couple families in there, usually two-part families, three-part families. So they're splitting the rent, electricity, and all that. And when they do that, then when they have these parties, they all usually put together, or when they go on these vacations, they tend to get a van, go do these things, or, you know, they save up for a while. They'll scrimp on everything else where I don't. I got trash bags and Ziploc bags and aluminum foil, and I got three different types of tapes. In other words, I'm so westernized. You see what I mean? We tend to waste more money on the stupidest things, and then you got here, well, they will rewash that Ziploc bag for 3 years. And I'm like, oh hell no. See what I mean? It's there's ways that they save and scrimp on top of that, and then you got the ones that are just money. It's family money and all this other stuff. So, anyways, why
Brian,
why you biting your lips there, bud?
Brian in the Philippines says, good morning, George and Heidi. Hey, Brian, how
Philly,
you
what's
doing?
going on? You missed that. I said hi earlier.
No, no, I didn't.
Yep. What? Who?
I didn't.
Why? What was you thinking about? Are your lips dried out? Why are they
Lou
so brown?
says, growing up as a kid, I never went to the movie theater, rarely ate McDonald's, and never left the neighborhood. Depressing childhood What? But I know it's Filipino enjoy their money.
I moved it down so you can see over.
Dude, why didn't you go leave your neighborhood? But anyway,
Well, when I was growing up as a kid, we went to go see my grandmother outside the neighborhood. My grandmother actually lived within walking distance of my dad. We used to walk in Ohio to go see them. Once we were able to, or we took buses everywhere. My mom had a station wagon on the occasion. And then my grandmother lived in Worthington, Galena. Now it's all malls. It used to be country out there. Now it's all malls and houses. It's a whole different area now that we're grown up and everything. But we didn't do it that often either. I mean, fast food for us was like once a year, maybe. And then the same with sugar. We rarely got sugar either. I think that was my problem. As soon as I busted out of my house, like I was telling you, I mean, I'd have cereal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner after I moved out and got married and was pregnant. And then it just went from there, man. I was just a sugar buff. That's probably why and how I started gaining so much weight. But yeah, we rarely had fast food. We rarely had sugar. My
Well,
mom
I
gave
wasn't talking
treats
about
when
that. I was
dessert.
talking about he never left his neighborhood.
Oh well, we really didn't either. So
Well, like I said, I travel about 16 kilometers on a regular basis, back and forth.
it's
Well,
because you get around.
no, I did. That's on bike. But anyway,
My man is a slut. He's a slut.
well, I wouldn't say that. But Mike Miller says my Filipino works online with clients in the U.S., UK, and Australia. She's bringing in over 2,000 US dollars a month.
There you go. Oh yes, it's all possible. Yeah.
Patriot for Life says go compound or go home from experience.
There it is.
Kapangan. Go kapangan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chesman says I don't think this dude is really safe. Having a daughter that is royalty. They took Elliot and he had nothing. I'm just right. That's true. Elliot didn't have squat. No, I
There's a
mean, I'm just laughing now that I'm saying that I'm laughing at Chosen One's statement because he has a point. He's saying that again, they basically, but here's the thing: we don't know really what the real motivation of what happened to Elliot. What I'm saying is the motivation of why they did that to him. Again, we already told you why we think they did it. We really don't think it was monetarily involved. Why they did it? There was never a ransom, so I don't think it was a money thing from the first place.
from the after stuff and the other additional things that were found out about him, I still think he did something beyond wrong.
Well,
Whether it was with the neighbor's
point
daughter,
being
whether
is
it
it's not
was
financially motivated.
yeah, there was a bunch of things that fell out and things hushed up on that. What other people didn't know also is she admitted that one of those kids were hers and everything. It wasn't his kid. I think it was with the original guy they claimed did it. There was so many other
And
unraveling,
there's a lot of
peeling.
things that we didn't talk about that's behind the scenes
So one of those
because these are
kids'
alleged
babies were
things.
hers. So yeah, she wasn't
Yeah,
pregnant,
there's a
but she
lot
had
of
already had one.
you know.
There were other things about the neighbors because you guys can understand if you guys will see me post, not always like if you with you guys that live outside the country, like in other countries, they don't get the like where things are being fed to them the way that we are
Right.
like people are signed up with us. We get like home videos of where these things are happening from neighbors. And I've never seen so many people in my life as I've seen Filipinos with phones. When crap goes down, there's a fire, their
Yeah,
neighbor talks out, they got a camera up in their face. And we're seeing these videos all the
which
time.
is kind of sad, but
It's true. It's this
point
day and
being is
age.
there's a lot of stuff that happened about Eastman that was but was not publicized at the same time. So
Hmm.
either way, it's pretty clear it's not financially motivated.
No, with
They
all
didn't
of that, a
they
lot
didn't
of the
take him
vloggers
because of the
hyped
money.
it. And
Yeah,
yeah, so that's the first thing I believe we were yelping is that it really, we didn't think it was based on being
correct.
over the money. We said he did something bad and more stuff came out. So
Allegedly.
yeah, he keeps, yeah.
Wolf says good morning, but it's
My
good
good
night for
morning,
me.
my
I'm trying to catch up with you guys. Like you guys rock. Thank you so much, Mr. Wolf. Patriot for Life says locking legs tattoo. Locking legs lotto. There you go.
right? Get them legs around your neck. That's why George is getting all excited.
Right. I have a very nice calf. It's very chiseled.
I like your butt. That's why I'm with you, man.
That used to be chiseled, but anyway. Cindy G says personally, I could never be with anyone unless I knew they love for
That
me
is
and not my money. Man,
mhm.
seem okay with this though. Well,
That's my deal. Haven't I? I've told George, and I've been asked that if something happens to George and he's upstairs cleaning the stairs. By the way, that's true. We need you to sweep the stairs today. So, but if something happened and he took the little blue pill tonight and drank a bunch of alcohol, and then we did the whiz all night and whiz.
did Art Kelly?
I don't know, but if we did, And then George
I
passed away.
believe I can fly.
And if this all happened, thank you for the backup music here. And so that's true. If you put a blue light in here, it would just be really bad, you know.
I believe I can touch the sky.
I don't know if I can. Now I know what it's like when I do this to him. It's kind of hard to talk when he's doing this. So, anyways, and I had to start over again. I thought about that. One, I'm no spring chicken. I'm not tiny. I mean, I'm okay. I'm confident in myself that I would be dating, but there's no way that even if I did look like Cindy Crawford now, even as age where she's aged, I would still believe that it would be over having more money than the average person here. You see what I mean? If you're making over 100,000 pesos a month, that doesn't make you poor here. It doesn't make us rich. Doesn't make me rich, but they would probably just based on that. So it's I don't know. And see, yeah, she looks good. But what I'm saying is she's still aged. And what I'm saying is if you have a younger guy that has a so-so life and then he's seen her and didn't know who she was, he would just call her a cougar and it would be based mostly on her money. It doesn't matter if she looks like that or who she is. I'm just saying based on looks. So I don't know what these guys are thinking of, like the Markle clan there, that if they didn't have money, that would be like the biggest basis. And you got to have personality. You would have to have this. Dating is hard. When I see other channels and other people talking about how hard dating is and how women have done them wrong in the West and how hard dating is and then the red pill, blue pill stuff. I'm like, oh, bullshit. It just, a lot of the guys coming here, the Filipinas, make the decision based on the income situation, and it's rough. So how they take them on and date them and not have any conscience about it, it's because I have a conscience. And so there's just no way it's a conscience thing. I just can't see
Why? Why would you have a conscience about it?
because I it would still be taking advantage just based
Who's
on
taking advantage?
you want names?
No, I'm talking about. Look at that. Who's taking advantage? Who's being taken advantage of? To me, that's equal grounds in my opinion.
Probably.
Now, as Cindy G says, men seem okay with this though. Here's the reality.
Hmm.
Do you guys really think that this guy thinks he's hot stuff? No.
Yeah, some of them do. but
Okay,
it's
no.
kinda-
There's some, even the delusional ones, they know deep down in their hearts they're not hot stuff.
Well, here's the thing.
What I'm saying is,
There are the guys that have something to bring to the table. There are the ones that are funny
Thank you.
and caring.
They-
Same with the women
you
and
just said
men,
it.
the Filipinas here. They do
I'm not-
have something.
they have something to bring to the table, and men have been trained since they're little boys that if you have something to bring to the table, it's okay.
Oh, what's she trying to say? My mouth?
What I'm trying,
My cooking? How I clean the laundry?
it's okay, William. It's okay. Now, what I'm saying is,
It's not for my looks.
anyway, don't mind her. All right. So what I'm saying is, men have been ingrained for the longest time that if they bring something to the table, it's okay. And this is a fact. Even the guys in this
He was
chat
a looker
right now,
back then.
whether they're in disillusion or not, they know deep within, they know that.
Yeah, I mean, that's him with his woman.
Yeah.
Now, that could be a caregiver. I mean, nothing was really put in the article about that because that's Meghan Markle and her dad on the one side, but that's him at the supermarket, maybe waiting for his grab because he was out there waiting. So he'd been sitting out there for a little bit. So he's probably waiting on transport, but that could be an assistant. So, but I don't know. I mean, there are some funny people. I've dated a man, 35. See, no, it's probably, yeah, over 30, 35-year age gap. So I get it. So of all people, I understand. But like I said, the guy was absolutely, I think I was more in love with his mind than anything. So that's the one I was telling you. I was buying my own alcohol, never asked for anything. And if the check was to be split, I was ready to split the check and he had the money. It was frustrating, but it wasn't for him to pay for stuff, even after a few years. just the way it was. But no, I mean, it's got to be where, like I said, you can love anything for any reason, depending on. I mean, you can have the best looking guy. I mean, I'm sure we've all been with somebody that was where you're like, you just like melt when you see them, but they sure turn ugly when they turn ugly. And then your heart just, what I'm saying is, even the most beautiful person that has everything in the world to offer will just, when once they turn a certain way, you just have, it's all gone out the door anyways. You're just not attracted when people's attitudes get nasty. It doesn't matter if they
Okay.
cook, clean, and everything.
What Heidi is saying is it doesn't matter if your guy looks like Pierce Brosnan.
And have the money.
There will come a point where if the relationship turns sour,
Thank you for breaking it down.
Pierce Brosnan will appear as the ugliest person on earth.
So, like you said, you have to have the love and understanding
Correct.
and patience, and you're going to be tested with that when you get to the Philippines. Everything's going to test. You know, if you guys are coming here for an LDR, if you guys are coming here to, how many guys have we seen in the last 4 years have actually, you know, forget about the ones that become YouTubers and all that, but they say, I'm just going to come here. I'm not opening a YouTube channel. And I'm not here to date. We would be rich if we had $1 for every time these guys said that.
No,
And
true
they
story.
do both,
Yeah.
especially some of the in the Dumaguete area. They all, Paul will interview him, the others will interview him. The Filipinas, there's like a whole lady wives club thing going on over there. And they get together, and the next guy that comes around, and if they break up, it's like an interchanging thing. But I tell you, I'm not going to do this, and that. And then next thing you know, they do all the above and they start dating. They don't wait a month or two. They start right away. And it's like, it's some of the worst stuff. And then they're the same ones that down the road end up breaking up. You know, there's so much going on. But anyway, so it's still back around to, are you really happy? Is money going to make the difference? You know, these are the questions and why we're doing this live today. You know, make a comment.
Yeah.
Give George some safety tips on the stairs.
There you go. Chris89 says the girls have to sleep with the old men who aren't rich.
That's true.
Just more money than them. So the women are getting the worst end of the deal. Well,
there are some that have little to no money and they still do that.
You have to realize that, in all fairness, that the women that are in these situations did put themselves in this situation.
Which brings around to that guy here in Angel City that needs the hip replacement. He had little to no money. His money was, he was getting something from Australia, but now he can't have the hip surgery. He just got out of the hospital. She quit her job last year. She's 30, 40 years younger than him, and he doesn't have a whole lot of money to begin with. So let's say that you're just actually getting by. Let me see. You want me to find that guy?
If you want.
If you're dating the guy and you're okay, let's say he is entertaining. It doesn't matter. Let me see. He'll get the image. And you're dating.
I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I hate doing it with my left hand. That's how I end up knocking the live stream out. Here's the thing. I'm ambidextrous.
Okay, yeah. Is it that one right there?
Where?
Right there.
I don't know if that's
that's
video.
it. That is it.
Well, yeah, we can. Yeah, but it's not that's just a photo.
Well, that's all we need.
You said we had to have it in a video. That's not.
Well, it's still a video.
Oh, is it the video? I couldn't tell if it was a video or not. So anyways, I mean, the guy's face is all jacked up. I'm just going to put it out. It's literally jacked up.
Okay, we don't know what the situation.
Only a face some mother could love, or a Mack truck.
Hey, he looks like he was in a fire. That's what it looks like.
I don't
He could
think
have been
so.
a retired firefighter. We don't know. But, well,
sorry.
This
I
is
have,
the person we're talking about.
I have Poindexter.
Now, be aware that.
What is that called? Tourette's.
Okay, so what Heidi's saying is, now she went into a relationship with this guy, so she did put herself in that path. However, the issue with this story is that he ended up breaking his hip, which is a serious matter. Now she did not sign up for that.
Right. But she still, this was last year. She quit her job, which I don't understand because his money wasn't even enough back then. So someone does. I guess I would expect George to do the same. I would do the same. So then she's taking care of him now, and now it's, it's so this is back to money, looks, and who knows? I'm just starting to get all sad about this. It could just be, it
Well,
could be
I
real.
mean, okay. I mean, I'm just saying. At least this is somewhat closer than the royal one. I mean, in all honesty, what I'm saying again, it's more feasible for me to see true love in this couple
Oh well,
versus
yeah, we all know
yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm
Then
saying.
the other situation, sure.
Correct. It's easier to see true love in that other couple than in this couple.
Well, that's the son. That's Megan's
Well,
brother.
it doesn't matter. I mean,
Well, if
it's
you look at his dad, yeah.
still the same. I mean,
Anyways, this was supposed to be about the money, not the
well, again,
yeah.
well, he had the illusion of money and the illusion of royalty, and that's what he's got going on
And
for
for
him.
those that have been making the comments lately, it's more than one comment that says who, and this is recent again, by the way. Who would ever think that you, Heidi, have any money? I wish that.
Nobody ever said we had money.
Well, no, that's not the thing. I've made statements where I've said that as an American expat, they see me as money. And then there's been probably in the last few months, there's been 10, 15 comments saying, who would ever think, Heidi, you're made of any money
okay, see
or that you're rich? And I'm
Right,
like,
but
just based on me being white and fluffy is
correct.
enough.
That's again, first off, we never claimed to have money, but that's irrelevant because the
Hmm.
fact that she's American,
Now I try to play a Canadian, man. I was incognito at the mall
everybody
the last
thinks,
time.
well, even if you're Canadian, they still think you're made out of money.
That's what George said. I said, yeah, but
It doesn't matter. You can pretend to be.
when Trump's doing
You can even
stupid
say you're
things,
African for all they care. They look at you like,
hey, when
she still has
Donald Trump is actually doing the things he's doing now, like this white African family, and getting rid of all the other families that need help based on the same situation, then that's when I say I'm Canadian.
Have you guys seen Heidi Musk? There she is.
I'd do me some Musk, even if he was broke.
There you go.
I would gecko that right down into the ground.
Chosen One says, my Filipina takes all the money. At least I let her think that.
Hey, there
We're
you
in
go.
love.
I'm in love with the
You the man, Chosen One. You the man. I like how he keyword. He says, at least I let her think that. Chris says, I talk with plenty of Filipinas, and they have the philosophy that they can learn to love a man, but being out of poverty, there's something more. It's more important. Well, there's a saying, you can't live out of love, and this is a
You
fact.
can't live on love. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you can't, and they know this.
I feel that the girls, and when I was younger and not married and dated guys, when you go through this dating stage, a lot of it, especially like where I've always dated either a foreigner or someone that was a little older than me at some point. And it was always, sometimes they weren't the greatest looking. It was based on personality, but you're so entwined in the fun. And the first thing these dumbass expats do when they do, they take them on vacation. They take them everywhere, places they haven't even been. I don't know how many that I've seen lately where they'll say, well, this is the first time I've been here and the first time. And I don't think they're lying. I don't think the Filipinos are lying about it. And I'm like, yeah, it probably is. So it's like taking a kid to the circus and plying him with sugar, and it's like I think they're like caught up in something, and then once they got them, they're kind of, I don't know, I just feel like there's some whole creepy, like, I don't know, there's just something. I think about that. I just think about the whole thing is that it does seem like the Filipinos are being taken advantage of by these older guys that have money. They do all these things. They know that. They know they're way older than they should be in dating. We're not talking about a little bit of an age gap. Again, I just seen another guy with a 45-year age gap on the girl. And the girl just seemed to be dumber than a box of rocks. It was the way she could speak, but it was the thing she was saying. I'm like, the girl doesn't even have any sense in her head. And I don't know. It just seemed like to me at that point, the expat was taking advantage. They were on TikTok, another TikTok couple that have a big age gap. And for me, I just think they get caught up with the traveling, and that's what they've been doing. And he's been buying her things. Another one that he just bought the bike for, the motorcycle, and also she's a single mother. Was they're not married yet? They're about ready to get married. And I'm watching this for 10, 15 minutes, and all these people are coming in and getting advice from these people about coming here and how to live. But mostly the guys that are in there are there to do the exact same thing. Oh, where did you find her? And so you got a portion of them that are simping on her right in front of them. That's very common here. There's like a whole cult of that situation. So they're simping on her, simply just falling and gooing all over. Why her man that's engaged to her is sitting right there. So he doesn't care because he's getting numbers and attention on the TikTok. He's making money and everything. People are admiring him. So she's being admired. She's in love with the whole ideal of being in love and having things paid for. And in the end, here in another 5 years, they're sitting there just screaming each other inside out, out in the province because they plan to move out to the province after all this. And so, I'm just spitting truths here, man. So in another 5 years, we'll see how that works out. So they're in love with the ideal of being in love right now. It doesn't matter. He's excited. He's still like me. I don't know that I always like if I'm not looking in the mirror, I still think that I'm 30 years old. You know how you feel as old as you look or look as old as you feel or whatever that crap is. You got the point on that one. That you want to feel young. And I get that guys are, spinning their wild oats that have turned rusty and everything, but they're both with some other imagination in their head. The reality will be is in another 5 years, if they make it to that married, same guys that are coming up with, oh my God, she wants to leave or she left me here. Or you know what? I just seen one where the Filipina got left. The foreigner went home. The foreigner went home to his family. He just couldn't take it. But again, she was another single mother. It doesn't matter if she's single, probably single for a reason. But sorry, I'm yammering. I've had a lot of coffee.
Well, I mean,
but he left her. He went back to the US. He had only been here for a year and he already left. Well, yeah, there's a breaking point. So we don't know if the family did something and drove him away. We don't know if she did something and drove him away. We don't know. A lot of people can't handle the family dynamic here. Like it's really overwhelming. I don't have to worry about that. So it's if George's family was over here all the time and up in my fridge and my alcohol and my candy supply and like kicking my cats around because there's a bunch of them in here and I couldn't do my thing or, molesta George in the mid-afternoon, it might be a little irritating.
What alcohol? There's barely any alcohol in this house.
You're right, but
There's less than an entire bottle of alcohol.
That's it, because I'm not buying no more, man. But no, if I couldn't molesta George in the afternoon.
No molestar.
Anyway, then it could be a problem. But I don't have to worry about that. So
That's Spanish,
I already
by
set
the way.
I already
No
set
molestar means do not
I already
disturb.
set the boundaries that hey, I put off the vibe of I don't like you. This is what I do. Instead of looking at people's shoes in the mall, because that's what I've been saying for a few years. It's like if a Filipino is staring you down because you're foreign, look at their shoe situation. I just put off this like that. I give the stank face, and then, show me your face. Give me that's pretty much it. That's all I need to say. Hey George, you want to go see that movie today? Final Destination at the mall.
Is it up today?
Are you kidding me right now? I told you that yesterday. I said it was out. And we were talking about going. So anyways, that's the stink face I'm talking about. So anyways, I yammered too much. Hey, Chosen One. Chosen One gave you 40,000. That's how much you need in your bank account to get by. That and couple sugar babies here. You know what I'm gonna
Thank you so
do?
much, Chosen One. Appreciate
Maybe
it.
I ought
man.
to do the opposite and find me a bunch of sugar daddies here. Couple Japanese business guys, one Korean, and a couple trike drivers. Means they got so much money going on here. You think I could manipulate some guys here to come take care of me? Like I turn on my bipolar charm and I can get them on in here.
Probably.
See, notice he did that after
Yeah. Well, okay. For those of
His
since
bumper
Eddie brought it up
has
again,
no more chrome.
On the truck driver, depending on the route, certain routes they pay on average right now, depending if it's nearby, it's about 30 pesos for the cheapest ones.
Did you do that or did I miss that? Oh, thank you, chosen one.
Yeah, you actually mentioned it yourself.
It was blaming on the
Okay,
diarrhea.
so again, for those of you wondering about the tricycle drivers, for some of you again, be aware again
if it's a very short distance, it's 30 pesos per trip. If it's a more somewhat a better drive, on average, it's about 60 pesos on
Where's that
average.
finger been?
But certain routes they actually
My sweet
charge
lips.
they actually charge 100 pesos per trip. Now, at 100 pesos per trip, just think about it this way. If the guy works all day, it's very easy and very feasible for him to have 10 trips. And those 10 trips pays 1,000 pesos per day. And some get 17 trips a day. So what I'm saying is, depending on the route itself, yes, certain tricycle drivers do make money. And but
A lot of them don't. I'm just saying. I mean, don't think that. I'm not saying this is a blanket statement. I'm just saying certain ones do make a lot of money. It depends on the route. It's kind of like
Hey,
if
Sarah.
you're a taxi cab driver assigned at the Beverly Hills, obviously you'll make more money than the ones that work in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Depends on the route. Anyway, um, Chosen One says, I watched vloggers for many years. I'm only forced to open a YouTube channel because of the lies. Yes, the lies are getting worse. In fact, it's getting worse. Even the clickbait is getting worse. Even the big
Well,
ones
I
make
think just
more
their
clickbait than
delusion, like
anything.
this guy and the TikTok. So we're in Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and we watch some of them now. And just in the last 2 years, it's flooded with these large age gap relationships. And usually they've got them in a bikini or have naked in the streams or molesting them right in front of everybody. All this over touching and how much they're in love. They're showing it and they're doing it all the time. Like I'm seeing them 3 and 4 times a day doing live streams. That's when you're like, what's really going on? So some of them are doing it because they're just being narcissistic or overshowing or overtelling, or it's kind of crazy. But the information they're giving out in between is not. I remember. That's all I got to say is then these guys have only been here for a few weeks type of situation. So we're not talking about like people where you hear people. Just never mind. It's overwhelming. The misinformation, the information based on living in the twilight zone in their brains or living from the bottom of their ball sack. I don't know which. You don't want ball sack information. You heard it first here. Say it, George. Ball sack information. Oh, we should have did ball sack information bullcrap on the next Philippine antics.
No, I mean I agree with Heidi. I mean it's really bad nowadays.
That's kind of sad.
And you know what? Yeah, who knows? We're not talking about like being off a little bit, like a little bit. We're talking about a lot. We're not talking about where people say, well, you guys have gotten stuff wrong. Yeah, we're usually getting it from another article or other things sometimes, but we try to be as close as possible and we try to correct it as soon as possible. No, we're talking outright crap. And people have been calling people out. Here's the thing they're calling the people out. It's blatant right in front of people's faces, and they still do it. They still fall for it, go for it, do it anyway situation. Just like I was talking about the Trump stuff. A lot of that stuff he does is good, and then a lot of it It's like he does it right in front of people, and it's like you didn't see it. Just like that new jumbo jet situation or this new white African family. That pissed me off. He's like, well, these farmers are suffering and they're being attacked and all that. And I'm like, and you don't think the people that paid those mules to get them over the border that they weren't running for their lives? Or the website that Biden opened up and they were told to come on in and it was okay. And then now they're planning to kick them all out and they brought this white African family in. Oh my God. I thought I was going to fall off the couch yesterday based on that. I was like, y'all don't see this? And it's like the same thing with these expats. It's like you see it, and then your dumbasses come here and fall right into the same thing. Still haven't gotten around to that Barbie grid crap about that. I think that will be our next one. He broke up with her 5 months before, was away from her for a month, and he's already bought her land. So he's bought her a bike, he's bought her land, he's buying her all of her stuff, and he says she's really cheap to live with. And they're vacationing at Boracay and all this stuff. Yeah, they're falling off of that grid Barbie. They call themselves Monkey Do something. I forgot what they call their channel. But there's like 3 or 4 families out there that are all like one watches the one, and then when they get here, they decide to open up their YouTube channel. And then he's using his woman to do it. He buys her all these things. He goes through the red pill, blue pill, Filipina peace shit and all that. And well, this is what's going on. And oh my God, and blah, blah, blah. And then they're opening their channel. And yeah, so he just bought her land on top of that, put it in her name, and they're going to build a house on it. And I'm like, oh my God. They stayed away from each other for a month, always drinking alcohol. I mean, like constant alcohol. I want to say the guy's maybe 40. She's probably 20 something. And crazy, like always drinking. She'll say it. Oh, we always having fun. We're always drinking, and with imagine her Philippine accent. And I'm like, you're always drinking, always in a bikini, always having fun, and talk about having a family and all that, and beautiful life and all that. And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to see be a fly on the wall in about a year on that one. So yeah, that sounds like yeah. I've been telling you, but George ignores me. He doesn't love me. He doesn't listen. He's not a good listener.
It's not that. It's kind of hard to keep up.
Too much coffee?
It's like you're talking about, Trump 1 second. Next thing you know, you're talking about.
Oh yeah, it's the coffee.
So I said it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, you got to keep up. You're not a woman. Keep up, ladies. Or is anybody else keeping up?
All right. Anyway,
George doesn't keep up.
Pager for Life says, I just got a Gupi Dasawa told me I was guapo and boosted my ego.
Hey,
Guapo means handsome.
what's goopid? Is that stupid?
I don't know.
Goopid. Maybe he meant stupid. But Asawa's wife, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Right.
I'll take that back.
Now be careful, and what I mean is, again, I've encountered this several occasions where a Caucasian, specifically American, would walk up to me and tell me on several different occasions, different people, different couple. The American would say, "Oh, my wife loves me, and she tells me this, she tells me that," and then he tells me the line that she always says. Like for instance, says, my wife really loves me. She says I'm really handsome. She says, "Ang gago mo," no? And my wife says that means I'm very handsome, and I just shut up because usually whatever the line that the guy says in Filipino, it actually means that my husband's you are stupid.
Yeah.
And I just shut up. I just don't translate properly because I don't, it's not my place. But be careful of what your Filipino tells you because it might be the opposite. They think it's even a bigger.
So how many times have you done that? We've been in public and somebody has said something wrong about me and then you didn't tell me. Oh dang snap, you got quiet. So
No, they don't say anything wrong. No.
well, the closest thing that I mean, I get that I'm big, which I guess they mistake for being old, or being white is mistaken for being old. Probably both, but I've been mistaken for his mother several times. And I'm like, I cannot look that old. I mean, like, they really thought I was up there. And
Or
I mean,
you're looking younger and younger. No, I'm not. I'm not BSing. I mean, you're looking younger and younger. I'm looking older and older. I mean,
No, so that's the closest. I'm
So-
like, but now one of them was a kid that appeared to be about 13 years old too. So that would I'd understand because again, white and big is really mistaken for, you know. But I was like, no, I'm not his mother.
yeah.
But or they're just surprised. So
Lou says money never makes a man look ugly or old. No, it's neutral. It's just again, it's as male of the male species, we're we're really
I'm
not
curious on like how it would actually work if I did, based on if if it would still, kind of like you're saying, money never makes a man look ugly. Would it actually be the same for me? The guys, would it be the same if I was single, George? Would it be easy to attract the guys based on just having an income and assets and stuff?
guys as
And
in
American.
Filipinos? Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
yeah. That's what I've been saying. I wonder how,
Yeah, but they probably won't approach you. I mean, I'm not
they're
being
shy. Yeah, it doesn't mean it's
First
because
off,
I'm ugly. It's probably because they'd be
there's
intimidated.
there's a well, yeah, there's intimidation. They know that there's nothing they can talk about. They
Yeah,
know
the
they
English
can't
gap.
communicate with you.
Yeah, a lot of
And then
times they
guess
won't
what? The
talk.
moment they do talk with you, oh, they'll get shut down. And I'm not being mean. I'm just saying, Heidi's more. We talk about deep stuff.
Yeah,
And-
intellectually it'd probably be
And
hard.
what I'm saying is they can't. I mean, again, even I have a hard time keeping up. I mean, I get
yeah, I
it.
mean, I switched
can keep
gears
up, but
back
You
there.
know what I mean? Even I was like, wait, what?
I
What do you-
switched gears back there.
Correct.
You totally
Heidi
missed it. I
shifts-
went from
shifts
eyeshadow because
gears
it was pink into
so
the pink
fast
drink.
that one thing she's talking about one thing, and the next thing you know, she's talking about another.
And if you missed it, you'd be like, huh?
It's because I shift quick on his gear is why he stays.
You know what I'm saying? But point being is no. But
No,
anyway, but
yeah. So anyway, so all right. So we're kind of
money never makes a man look ugly or old. Now, again, guys are we are not. I'm talking about we as in men. Okay, this is the reality, and this. I mean, women will agree to this. Remember that there's this old saying, oh, I will finally find my tall, dark, and handsome. Men are never, keyword never, expected to
Live up to those standards.
yeah. So all the above would make it
Never
hard.
ever have men be held up to those standards. Tall, dark, and handsome.
Now the tall part, yes. The handsome part, not so much. The tallness. What does the tallness have to do with it? The tallness is actually a
And I'm
security
tall,
thing.
which would make him really insecure.
Right. Well, the tall thing for women, why they want somebody tall, is because they think, or it's subconscious, that if a guy is tall, they're strong, and if they're strong, they can protect them. There's always a science behind everything. You know what I'm saying? But the handsome part, men were never really expected to live to those standards. They're expected to have, again, it's kind of like the dowry system. The dowry system a long time ago, this is standard for almost every culture. What's the dowry system? The dowry system is if a man wants a woman, all he has to do is basically give the dad his
there
herd
was
of horses.
whether he was 12 years
saying?
old up to 102 years old. It didn't
it's
matter
more
back
of
then.
a power of wealth. And
Mhm.
what I'm saying is the handsome part, this, you know what I'm saying? And again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it looks do count, but men were never really expected to live to those standards.
We did test somebody when we first got here the first year. Remember when you asked that mechanic guy about being able to afford me or something, or when we stopped and when I went out looking for the jobs, you went over there and said, ask him if it's something about if he could afford me or something, and he said no.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah, something about dating me and affording me, and would he date an American? His answer was he didn't think he could afford me.
Well, that's another thing. Here's another thing. Now that Heidi mentioned it,
I got
guys
needs
will
like
agree to
toilet
this.
paper, man.
Guys will agree to this, and women too. When a man sees a woman subconsciously or even consciously, he does think, can I afford her?
Yeah, and it's
Can I
not because I'm
sustain her?
pretty. One, he probably okay. Well, she needs
And same thing,
medications.
vice versa. Most women, I'm not saying all
She
women,
looks like she likes
most
snacks.
women
Hell
think,
yeah.
can he afford me? Can he sustain me?
Can he sustain me by Jollibees or whatever? And he's
Right.
probably thinking that. Yeah, because I'm not.
Right. The handsome part is like secondary. It was never primary. It's always.
So I guess when they look at these Filipinas, it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of like they scan them and they kind of know. Look, she's skinny. She don't
And
eat
like I
nothing.
said,
She doesn't have a lot of jewelry on.
There's-
She
there's
doesn't.
a
She looks pretty
lot of-
simple. Oh, she's from the province. Yeah, I can afford
Yeah,
that,
there's a lot
and I
of-
can
yeah.
manipulate her at the same time. So and stuff her in my backpack and take her everywhere with me. That's I'm sure the same thing is
Yeah.
going on. Yes.
And some of you expats who've been here in the Philippines will agree that you've seen drop dead gorgeous Filipinas, and then you wonder, how the heck did he get her?
And then you better recalculate again. You better, because a lot of guys, oh my God, she's beautiful. She's single and she's got a kid. Oh man, I got lucky. But it's like, man, you better think about that stuff because something went south. She was somebody's honey squeeze for a while. So,
CBGB says Pierce Brosnan, not George, not Bronson. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. David Bryan says maybe love is in there with the ultimate Getty farts. Right there, you go. Love is in there. Sarah Tyson says, "Beware the stairs, George. Beware the stairs."
we got your song for that. I did write a song on that finally.
Joe Cinnamon says, "Guys, study this pick." No excuses.
And we want somebody to have love, but when people go for large age gap, 10 years maybe, man, this is a 40-year age gap. Give me a break. This is a person that doesn't give a rat's ass, man. Both of them, actually.
Hey.
Sorry, both of them.
Hey.
Sorry, shots fired on myself and at them. Because, sorry, that's just where it is. Because me, I sat here yesterday, I'm going to switch gears again. I worry about the cats. I worry about George. I worry about all the homeless people on the street. I've got some sort of conscience every night when I go to sleep situation, right? But then you have this guy here. He has to know that he's not in her bracket at all. These guys aren't. They're totally out of like. I mean, we're not talking about like one decade, lots of decades, and there's like nothing in common. And I don't know, babe. There's just you got to choose right. And I know you're never going to have all the things checked off, but at some point he knows what I'm talking about. You all know what I'm talking about. Do they work? Yeah, maybe. Maybe let's see these 40-year age gaps in another couple years. And do we know what's going on behind closed doors situation? I don't know. I don't know. 10 years maybe, 20 maybe, 15.
Right.
But when you go 20, 30, 40 years age gap, it's only going to happen here. It's only going to happen here.
Chosen One says the bar is not raised, it hits the floor. Just
walk over it. It's simple.
there you go. Just
Sounds
walk
like-
over the bar. You're done.
Sounds like me
Yeah.
when I take off my bra.
Patriot for Life says tough field to play nowadays.
Mhm.
Dana Jones says love is blind in many relationships because I'm average looking, but once women find out how much money I have, they put my looks up there with Brad Pitt. There you go.
And do you guys really want that? That's what I'm saying. He has to be delusional. She's delusional for falling into it. And I, with a conscience, cannot do that because if George dies tomorrow, and I even had to think about dating somebody, even if it is just somebody to be with me, like here at the house or someone with me to be around the Philippines, I can't do it because I know based on what little I do have, that's why. Because I'm not going to put up with their shit. I'm going to be the same Heidi, just like you guys. When you start dating these women, yeah, you put on your best behavior in the beginning, but you still got to be you and you got to live with that for the rest of your life. So I ain't going to be sucking up to nobody at this point. Heidi is going to do Heidi and all that. So if I had to restart dating, I'm not sucking up. They either like me or they don't. Going to put on my charm for just about as long as I need it. And then it's like, okay, I got to get out of this brawl. And then it's kind of like all over with, can't keep your makeup on forever and your charm. So what I'm saying is that, it's like, are you really dating me because you love me and want to be with me situation? do I want to go through that all over again? Some of these guys, I don't even know how these guys even want to start all over again.
Cats.
So, I mean, like, think about it. I'm in my early 50s and I wouldn't want to start all over again. So it's these guys are starting all over again. They're going through the same childish reindeer games that these girls are putting them through. It's like, no way. And these guys are getting hurt in the meanwhile, just like this guy with the broken hip. He said he fell down the stairs. Maybe he didn't fall down the stairs. Maybe he was giddy up and giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. And maybe he was trying to do one of those, all those weird positions, George. He's probably trying to do the bionic man
I don't think he can.
or the
name any
helicopter.
position.
The helicopter. I'm talking about before he broke it. That's probably how he broke it.
Has crossed my mind. Yes.
Probably in the shower trying to get some in the corner pocket.
Well, actually,
He's doing the helicopter bionic man in the shower, and that's how
the
he
high
broke that hip.
probability of it happening. To be honest with you, I'm saying
Just like that glow stick
most
situation.
accidents happen in the bathroom.
I lost a glow stick in my woo-ha,
Oh
and I
my
made it to the ER. It's like, bull crap, that's
a
not what
different
happened.
story.
So that's what's really going
Yeah,
on.
no, that's somebody again. That's urethral. Anyway, David Bryant says you have to live on love if you have no money. There you go. Larry Love Jr., which is funny. I guess it's kind of related. They are, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's probably talking about when we had the couples up.
Patriot for Life says on the backside, most shooting fans only videos. There's the viewers' money. There you go.
No, they actually do.
Patriot for Life, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok old news. There you
Mm-hmm.
go. Grammy got her groove on. Says I would never be happy in a loveless relationship, no matter how rich they might be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I wouldn't appreciate the security the money could provide, but love is my priority. Yes, of course, everybody has their own priorities. Unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, because again, it's a matter of perspective. Some people do take money as a priority first.
And George, as we've told this story for those that are new to the channel, watching, peepers or whatever, George was the one with money. He had a business for 10 years. He was in an oversized house with a swimming pool, 4 cars and a motorcycle, assets. He had a hell of a bank account. This was all going on. And I was already on disability, living in a mother-in-law quarter with my dad for over 10 years, taking care of him. And before my mother passed away, and that's what I'd done, just a simple life. I drove Uber on the side to make a little extra cash legally on disability. And that's what I'm allowed to do on disability. And he's the one that had money. And then during the pandemic, we're like, wrap the business up and let's go to Mexico first while we wait for the country to reopen, because it never did recover. The country has not recovered, and it's still not going to recover. And that's just where it is. I'm just going to tell you like it is, be much negative Nancy
it
as
will
possible.
recover. It will recover.
What, in 30 years?
No, it won't take that long.
Anyways, you got my point. So probably not before you collect your own Social Security.
Oh, I'd be dead by then.
All right. So what I'm saying is we made the right move. Every day we know it's the right move, and we know that being here is the right thing. So it's, that he was the one that was there. I mean, did I have money and credit cards and did okay? Yeah, but I wasn't uber rich. Working class family. Nobody in our family is uber rich. George is the one. Same with his family here. They are the one. And by the way, just because his family has money doesn't mean I have to go over there or suck up to him either. So that was another comment that came through. They thought that I would be nicer to your family because they do have money. And I'm like, yeah, no.
True.
It's like, why? I mean, you can't buy this. You can't nothing, man. At the end of the night, when my eyes close, it's just me. George might be there in the bed, but that's just the way it goes. True story.
Yeah.
I don't have to like George because he's nice every now and then. I don't have to like him because he's my husband. I don't even have to like you at all.
You don't.
Most of the time, I don't.
Dana Jones says the problem is a lot of Filipina have a fairy tale prince, charming, coming to marry her dream start since they're very young, and her looks are the only way for her to get out of poverty. She's going to
and soon
do her part.
Yeah, soon them looks will go. And that's another one because it's always coming up in the feed. The guy did leave his Filipina and went on to another Filipina. This happens a lot here, guys. Guys, girls, anybody watching. Or if any Filipinas are watching, you do know eventually or during your man will cheat on you,
There's
and
a
he'll go on with
yeah.
another young Filipina because I've heard Calvin say it. It's like a lot of chickens running
It's
around. He says it's
it,
very tempting all the time.
it's Filipino swap. You know, one girlfriend hops from one expat to another,
The guys
and I'm
know the
not
next
joking.
girl will come along when they're bored with the one, whether they've had kids with them or not. You better trust that guy and know him. So many times they'll say, "Well, I didn't know that he had been married before in the United States or the UK. I didn't know that he was like that." Yeah, you find things out about people, and that'll happen anyways. But the difference is here is his very small wallet. Even if all he's got is $1,200 a month, he'll move on to the next Filipina, and those Filipinas don't have a problem with it. So much going on here.
Peter for Life
That
says,
fan really is kicking in, man.
no, it is. Oh, forget
New
Tinder
fan.
meetups at any college in the Philippines. Quick tuition money. There you go.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Like a spot says, she loves your hair the most. This one.
Uh-huh.
Peter for Life says it's called nutsack information. The new
Nut ball sack information is just like,
the BS that YouTube and Facebook spewing out nowadays. And TikTok, of course.
or
Yeah.
set aside all the expat Filipina stuff or Philippine stuff. Just go to the regular misinformation when it's just insane that AI can produce that almost looks real. And it's like sometimes I can't even tell when they make the fake stuff based on Philippine government stuff now, or they're making the stuff up in the US. And it's like I looked at it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's not even a real news conference. So you really have to pay attention these days. So
Yeah.
crazy.
Peter for Life says there's Geoside. There you go. Like a spot says, I also love the color of the mic, so thank you so much. Like a spot. Like a spot also says, I just watched the guy's video saying he got scammed 6 million pesos.
Interesting.
But in all fairness, he was never scammed 6 million pesos because he gave away the 6
Oh,
million
if you're talking about that one,
pesos.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's a difference being scammed for 6 million pesos versus
Uh,
you giving it
I'll have to
away.
see if there's any update. If you're talking about the one in Cebu, I'm still trying to figure how they were able to entrap her like that. If he was giving these items, whether she was leading him on, unless they found out she really was married, unless they found out that there was something else going on in her life, her all of a sudden asking for how much ever she asked for the condo, which we did find astronomically high. Okay, that might have been a con in itself, but here's the thing: if he's already giving her all those nice things, I probably would have gotten in line if I was young enough. And I was like, then you got greedy. It's kind of like it's like, oh man, see, okay. So I'm just wondering how they really come to that. If he already was situation, how it,
Yeah.
I'm still curious, but I'm wondering. I mean, nothing's come up in the feed about it, but I haven't gone searching further to see if they've said exactly more about it.
Chosen one says it's true but funny. There are many white Africans, the Dutch that settled centuries. Well, yeah, no. They've always been Caucasian Africans a long time ago, and but be aware that they've always been prejudiced since the get go. For obvious reasons. Um, Especially during like the Civil War era
Wasn't that part
of
of the
Africa.
apartheid and all that? Wasn't that all the whites against the blacks? Wasn't there some sort of skirmish? There is. The whole history goes back. And yes, anybody that knows history, anybody that knows anything, that there's a lot of white born Africans, living in one side, the other side, out and about living. There's a bunch of poor ones. Where I am irked to no end is he brought them in front of the world dressed up and traipses them in after he deports all those people out that he claims are bad people. No proof, no whatever constitution applied to anything. And then he's getting rid of all these people all the time, and boom, he brings in these families in front of everybody, right in front of him, says, oh, they're just poor farmers that are being mistreated. You don't think the other ones aren't being shot at, stabbed, bad things are happening, kids being raped, all that? These people that are coming in aren't just coming in and say, "Hey, I just want to work at McDonald's and have a relationship with a white woman." It's not going down like that. These people are desperate. They got problems too, not white African farmers. And they're doing it right in front of people's faces. And people are like, "Oh, way to go, Donald."
Well, and actually, I believe there's more crime against their own kind.
They should. Everybody, whoever, I mean, I know there's some disagreement on whoever they've let into the country already. It doesn't matter if they came in illegally or crossed through. Process them properly, and you've already sealed the border. That's it. Okay. Start with that. But don't kick a bunch of them out that were actually put onto a website and they signed up and then they came over and they're deporting those people that were allowed to come in.
Right.
And-
Don't kill the ones that are already in process.
And then turn around and let these white people in. I mean, who doesn't like some white people? But it doesn't matter if they're from
Freak.
Africa. I mean, it's like so weird. I brought in some white Africans that are farmers. Sorry, they couldn't produce carrots.
Like
They
Elon.
couldn't. Yes. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Like
He's
Elon.
a white African.
Yes, Elon's a white African.
Oh my God, it just hit me again. Lick them nuts and call it Tesla. Are you serious? I just thought about that. So that's
Yeah,
even worse.
True.
I bet you he's been at them Diddy parties. That's got to be what's wrong with Trump. It's got to be. Oh, Diddy was rubbing that oil all over that ball sack, all over his top of his head,
What?
rubbing it in like baby.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I'm out there, man. That's really crazy, man. Why don't they just? And again, you think open up the whole goddamn world and just let people go wherever they want and leave me alone.
Elon for president. Make Africa great again.
Make Elon great again.
Where's he at?
Did you guys hear that private conversation
He's
about
probably
Tesla?
in Blue Origins right now.
Tesla and the batteries and
I'm
gas,
joking, I'm
and
joking.
Elon had to straighten Trump out about that. You do realize we won't be able to sell gas at that point, sir. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you're right. We can't do that." And then they scrapped the whole idea. And I'm like, people don't realize everybody's got a phone and microphones and selling people
Petrol
out.
is everything.
Yeah, Trump was ready to sell out everybody on gas until. Oh my God. So, anyways, let me get off that subject. But,
And I hate to say this, I mean, because I'm a big advocate for electric vehicles, but you can't replace petrol.
I love me some white people. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But
Jiminy Crickets woman.
I'm
You
gonna
can't
tell
say
you,
stuff like that.
I can.
Oh, what is this? Is this for me? Is this chalk?
Yes, it is. That was your aspirin. Don't take that. That was more melatonin than I've taken in a week, man. I'm
Oh, okay.
joking. I put that down there. That's your aspirin that you're supposed to take every day. So no.
Radar says I kept up, but it fell. Sorry.
I mean, if you guys
During
think
the
that's
struggle.
okay, then let me know. Am I wrong? And no, I don't want to hear from people. Oh, that's because Heidi hates Trump. She's a leftism, Marxist, Hitler loving, blah 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 blah. That's what's wrong with
You
her.
communist.
Really? Really? You're gonna throw out a country that was built on the immigrants' backs, and then you're throwing everybody out, and they grabbed them Puerto Rican people that were American citizens and they locked them down. That's not fake news or fake shit. And then right afterwards, they bring them white people in. Oh, jiminy crikeys. Trump 2028. Why don't you guys just make Kanye president? Things are taking felons. Why don't I run for president? For Christ's sake.
Heidi for president.
Why not? Bite me on that one. Bite me. Gotta start using my bite me cup again.
Yeah, well, you need to get Elon
I mean,
on
he
your
does
back
some
to
good
win.
things. We're not saying even Biden did some
That
good
didn't
things.
sound right.
But office all decorated like some Middle Eastern creep. I mean, come on. Gold and white, that's all Middle Eastern crap. So he sold out. Make the Middle East great again crap. Make America great again. And then everything looks like Elon's butt. Who knows?
Well, anyway.
It was separate from Heidi by 10 degrees.
Well, it's not that. I mean, actually, Heidi is actually more right than you guys realize. I mean,
Oh, my shirt.
it's
Getting
not
big.
a big. Again, I'm not anti-American by any means, but what I'm saying is, it's not odd, or it's kind of obvious that America does have a lot of, interests and values in the Middle East, aka oil. It's
Yeah.
always been that
Well,
way.
it's
It
they're
doesn't take a
there. His
genius to figure
sons
that
have been
out.
there for business before, and they plan to be there way after. I mean, everything is right in front of people. But anyways, that's where we're.
Right. That's not what it's
Yeah.
about, but I'm just saying it's always been an interest since.
And we needed to close the border up, and those that were there illegally, okay, but due process, even if they were criminal. And you do know they're talking about, like, serious. He's already said it again. They're talking about sending Americans. So let's say you do something, and let's say you drank at a party and then you off somebody with your car, and then they lock you down for 20 years. You get out, something happens again, you go back to jail. He could just deport your butt right out of there too. Deport Americans on out of the country too. So what I'm saying, it's
Technically,
weird.
They
So
can.
it's things are just getting like
They can
weirder.
legally deport Americans if they wanted to. And I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying it's legal, but can they? Yes, they can. All they have to do is invoke 2 acts. There's 2 acts that will allow the U.S. government to do this.
Hey, you know what? He can send them to work at his new plants. He could take them South Africans and put them in his plants. Oh, wait a minute. They already said what that was going to be. Here, mute. I can't say that out loud. Here, mute it. I'll tell you. Hold on. I can't tell you guys this. I'll tell Sarah later.
Anyway.
So they did. That's what they said.
Yeah.
Make America great again. Put them Africans to work.
Yeah, but those are white Africans.
Probably still the same thing if they put them in those factories
They're
at
not going
$8 an
to.
hour.
They're
They're going to have to do something. What jobs are they going to get? They're white African farmers. They brought farmers here before. History is doomed to repeat itself.
Anyway. It'll be like,
Looks like Elon is bringing his own people over here to work in the farms. I'm going to work in the farms again. Working the farms again.
well, if that's their livelihood in there, then yeah.
Hey, they're bringing their own worker ants over. Working the farms again.
Like a spot says, all women love snacks.
Yes.
Like a spot says, I'm also seeing more and more young guys, kids just graduated college on YouTube, already gave up on dating.
Yes.
No, it's sad. They don't even try.
You're talking about in the U.S. and
Their
Europe.
generation has it tough with AI, right? I mean, seriously. I mean, back then, even Cliff Notes was difficult. Remember Cliff Notes? Even you have to even hunt Cliff Notes down to get that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's easier to not do the Cliff Notes. It's just easier to read the book than go out and search for the Cliff Notes. It's kind of weird.
Now everything's given away. There's nothing sacred anymore.
And if you don't know what Cliff Note is, case in point. Anyway, and with AI and going out in the real world, correct? No,
it's harder for the new generation for sure.
That's sarcasm. I don't know about harder.
No, I'm talking about like dating, because people used to date strictly for love. Now everybody sees everybody with money. The internet shows everybody living their best life. So then at this point, if I was starting all over again, I probably, when I was in my prime, be like, you know what? I got this, and that goal. And this is where feminism and all this stuff comes in situation. And it's kind of like, you know what, I'm going to do this, and that. And if I'm going to marry somebody, they're going to have, equal this and money. And I can't date that person, blah, blah. So it's, these new kids have high expectations. They need a lot of assets, I'm not saying everybody, but for most part, this new generation is in big trouble.
Here's the thing. And most of you will agree. I would say 45% of you will agree with me. Dating is easy. Even nowadays, even with the kids nowadays, dating is easy. Even the kids nowadays can find a date.
The
Oh, compared to
problem,
us, where we had to
no,
manually
no,
go
no, no,
out.
no, no. Even us, dating is easy. The problem, the difficult part is maintaining a relationship. Those are two different
Finding the
things.
person is an easy enlist. But then again, a
But
lot of
dating
these
somebody's
days will.
easy. Keeping it alive, that's a different story.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it depends on what part they're in. When they get our age, a lot of us are already born or
Oh,
burned,
no, 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 no,
scorned,
no.
and
We're
so
already
then you
at
get,
our age. We're jaded, but
and
still,
then in your 30s, you've already dated,
it's
slept
still
with a ton
easier
of
than
people,
you
and
realize. I mean,
mm,
it really is.
well, with the dating apps, yeah, sleeping with people, dating
You don't need
people.
dating apps. You just go out there and talk to people.
You haven't been in the game for 5 years, dude. So what I'm saying is, even in 5 years, it's become crazy.
Yeah, but
I get when it stays the same, or that it moves, it stays the same, but it's the standards are moving around the internet, AI. Now you can just get an AI bot and an electric machine and a case of oil, and that's the end of it. And they'd rather do that.
well, no, that's true. I mean, they want to
Order a
find
pizza
the
and
easy way
Netflix.
out, and like somebody says, like an AI thought, as somebody said early, the past lives,
Hmm.
they would rather talk to, which I don't understand, because even the most advanced chat bots are still bots. They
They
act and
do,
behave like
right, but
bots.
there are ones you're paying $20 and $30 a month. Yeah, after a while they do learn your process, and it's because they're hearing what they're being told what they want. They're not like this guy. He actually said that he's got a wife, and this is his AI wife, and she charms him all the time, asks how he's doing all the time, and when he doesn't want to hear from her, he doesn't hear from her. So it's kind of, I
Well,
get it too.
there are some chat human beings. Not really. No, really. I'm not talking about Bard or whatever you're using. There are AI bots out there that talk like human beings and they sound like human beings, but
Yeah, we've lost
yeah, I know.
20%. Yeah.
But they still are bots and you can still tell. Um
Heidi is like myself. I'm set in my ways, ain't got time for the BS and people carry with them. Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I care about people's BS, but George knows as much as I say, I don't give a rat's ass or I don't care. I technically do, but then I have my limits. It's like then, and so I'm just too old for that. It's you just get to a point as a woman, you just don't have time for that.
Capsy Pepper says, yeah, a lot of marriages are for convenience. Well, yeah, but well, most relationships are. Even they usually are for convenience, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Chosen One says, I want to visit Mexico. Not sure why. I need those burritos.
Burritos. That's
In
another
in
thing.
all fairness, if you do go to Mexico, don't go to the border towns. Go to the heart of Mexico where it's real Mexican food, not the American Mexican food.
Yeah, and don't come here opening illegal businesses. I've seen several more, and I know that there are several expats here, and I can almost bet my bottom dollar they don't have the licensings for these motorcycle shops they're opening up everywhere. There was one that was just busted in Thailand, and he was either American or from the UK. The entire shop got busted. He had no licensing, no nothing, and got caught. He was making a lot of money, but it was his way he was getting by. It seems to be a trend besides young women that these guys are dating. They love opening these motorcycle shops. They'll get 10 bikes. When they make some money, they add some more. We're not talking about that one ding dong that opened one up. No, there's a lot more in Dumagetti that are opening these shops. And there's already Filipinos that have these shops, but there are more and more opening up these motorcycle shops. There's another one I just seen recently advertising that has a YouTube channel, another one, an odd channel that's actually opened a motorcycle shop up. And I'm like, I bet they don't have any licensing. You can tell the way they do it from their house. And we're talking about we know you can and still get licensing, but it's not exactly easy to do all that either. So these guys take the shortcuts. And if you get caught, then you're going to get thrown out. And these things happen
It's
all the
not
time.
usually if they run it in a house. It's usually in a very high probability that it's not a legitimate business because in order to get licensing, you have to produce a business lease, and most homes are not on a business lease.
Well, most of them aren't even supposed to be working. They're here
No,
on
I
tourist
understand that, but what I'm saying is
tourist
that
visas.
I'm talking about the Philippine government itself. The fact that they're operating at a house, in order for them to operate at a house, that means that house must be on a business lease.
And then the other one, besides that one, there was a Filipina that's promoting another expat that doesn't have any money, that he's here. He's running a burrito stand. He's literally sitting out in the sun cooking burritos on a grill all day and selling them as his specialty. And that's how he's making his money. And it's sad that guys come all the way over here. He probably got burned by a wife, probably got burned. I don't have the full story. I'll try to get that one too. And he's working again and he's out there. And in order to make anything to do rent and your basics, he's got to be out there 10, 12 hours a day. He came all the way here to stand all day and make burritos as an American to sell to people. It's kind of odd, and I'm betting he doesn't have his licensing. So you could get busted for that. You could get in trouble for that. You could get extorted from other Filipinos for that, knowing you're out there working and taking their business. He's taking all kinds of risks. Plus, he's out there in the hot sun. Oh hell no, man! I'm like I said, I'd be down there on Red Street again, man. There's just no way. And there's no way. So I don't get it. So yeah, just watch opening businesses and trying to come here to make any income. We said it's a near impossible. We really mean it. And then people dump all their extra money into these motorcycle shops and what they've seen online and everything. And this just ain't the country to do it. So, and there's a lot of competition. You can bet, I bet there's already 2 stands around him selling them type of burritos. And then he's going to start losing money because they're doing that. So,
Yeah. Shartan says, "Do Filipinos recognize royalty as they are not a monarch-ruled country?" I would say I would say about 70% do not know. I would say 30% are aware. A lot of Filipinos don't care about. I'd hate to say it.
what are you doing, TT?
Even
Oh,
America, a lot of them don't follow American
get him, TT.
politics and American, like, Hollywood, that kind of deal. Same thing with Britain. They really don't care.
Yeah.
David Kelly says, so regarding comments to Heidi about her coming from money or not, Filipinos need an American angle on that. In America, rich people don't dress rich, so you never know the tip off. Maybe shoes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, most real rich people. I'm not talking about the ones that show off. Most real rich people, again, they don't really show off. Even the shoes, you really can't tell. They wear
Mhm.
the very, very low key rich money
Yeah, I just
shoes.
wear mine are like $20
Yeah.
fake Crocs and they still ask me for money and still try to oversell me, and so it's yeah.
Chosen says, I love Mexican, but I get the runs. It's a love-hate relationship. There you go.
Yeah.
Dana Jones says it's like in Thailand with the bar girls. They age out around their mid-30s, start looking for a rich, wealthy foreigner to marry and settle down. But it's hard to compete with 18-year-olds. Correct.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah,
of
at
young
that
girls
age, they
here.
need to catch somebody or else they're doomed. Right. When you're pushing mid-30s, there you go. Capsy Pepper says, truth be told, most, if not all, Filipinos marry mostly to escape poverty and hopefully abroad to work, send money to their family, but that doesn't mean all of them are bad. No, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
that is true.
Like a spot says, royalty still exists in Muslim South with sultans and datus. Yes, but it's not like it used to be. Like a spot says, and
Oh.
Filipinos were subjects of Spanish monarchy for 300 plus years.
That's something I was thinking about again as I was sitting there going through some of the videos, and then I ran into some Thai videos. If you stop too long, they'll feed you a bunch, and then the Japanese ones. And then it came back to more Filipino, and it's like, wow, they are so Hispanic. It's like they almost, after living in Florida and being in Mexico, it's like so Hispanic compared to the other Asians, their accents and everything. So yes, the Spanish monarchy, or that all shows so much, even to this day. It's, yeah, very Spanish here.
Yeah, David Kelly says so many things to comment on, not enough letters allowed. Anyway, great video. Lost in PH says, are you talking about Goldfinger? He's got scooter business out of his house in Dumaguete. Again, regardless of who we're talking about, you don't usually run a business off your house unless it's a Sarasari store. Chosen One says, America doesn't care about monarchy for sure. We had to fight them for basta or for our freedom.
Yeah. Are we?
Chosen One says we don't like the Brits and their food is bland. Yeah, I said
It can be, yeah. I was just telling George that, there's a lot of shops that are here in Angel City that are British, and there's some that are, I was telling him there's one that sells frozen meat, and probably not bad meat, but they're charging $3 over the pound at the average store, and I'm not going to do it because they're importing meat. Like, it was $6 for a box of sausage. I'm not doing it. Even if it is the right price, it's just really high. So I try to avoid buying. I mean, it's high, some of the frozen meat, but there's a lot of shops open that are, at the Western price. And I'm like, definitely didn't come here to buy Western meat prices. It's like, yeah, we'll stick to tofu and eggs. So, or use it for eating out or doing something. So,
yeah.
all right, guys, we are going to wrap it up. We appreciate
Say
everybody
your
coming
goodbye,
in.
guys. Thank you so much. Chosen One, appreciate your support as always. MB, thank you so much. Grammy got her moves on. Thanks. K Dallas was with us today. We also had Gio was with us today, and also Brian from Philly in the Philippines was with us today. Thank you so much. Slick Rick, thank you so much. Appreciate you so much. Cindy G from Dumaguete. Smile and Be Happy was with us. Harry Walsh from Deer Park, New York. Ugly Tourist. Billy Pyro. Jennifer Wilson. Thank you so much. Appreciate so much. Marian Habera was with us today. Neil, Enigma, Mr. Wolf, Patriot for Life. Black Grandpa was with us today. Of course, our lovely Sarah Tyson was with us today.
And if you guys aren't subscribed, please
Julian
subscribe.
Jones. Yes. Like a spawn, of course. Thank you so much. Spawn BF says peace. Airwall says night all. Chosen One says peace all.
Next live will be Saturday if I'm going to do one. Usually that's just me doing one, or if not, it'll be Tuesday, or if we just come on if something goes on here. That is for sure.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys. Looks
Love
like
you
the
all.
coffee's wearing off. Thank you guys for dropping in, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.